Hi and welcome back to another Craig's World. My name's Craig. Welcome to What Is My Madness. Today we're going to do a bit more on a sprocket. Today it's getting very close. The last video I did didn't work, but I'm going to catch you up on everything I've done. I've not quite finished putting the head down. You're going to see the procedure, the last two steps to the procedure to finally fit the head. So enjoy this one. It's going to be a fun. Weather's nice. Let's carry on. Okay, so it's looking a little bit different at the minute. As you can see on previous videos, we fitted the air conditioning pump. The head is torqued down to 2 settings. You've got to do 4. I've only put the rocker cover on for now, but because I've buttoned in all the intercooler, the mass airflow sensor, I've done quite a lot. Even putting the new bottle on, we've not filled it up yet, but this can be slightly moved out the way because we're not quite there yet. So as you can see, nothing in the head. We've got a load of parts we've got to put back on today, and I'm going to show you procedure of the timing. We've got all the turbo sorted out. We'll get all that done today. I want this majority done, all the fuel rails finally finished off, and then all we're waiting for is just to time it, and then I can put the bumper back on and we can drive it. So the first procedure we're going to be doing today, and this is the top. Right, the torque settings on this. You can see right there, you can see 40, 60. We need to do 2 90-degree turns. So this is what the procedure we are going to do now with the big bolts that we put through. So right, so my first step today, before we start doing all the timing marks, I only put this on for now. As I mentioned, I just want to take this back off for a couple of reasons. I've not put the clips in to tighten the injector down to the head, to its rail. So we can do this, but you need to take it off to do it. Right, leave them out of the way. That's it, you can see it better. Right, as I mentioned, this I don't like doing this part, but it's got to be done, unfortunately. Put my bar. So, on the procedure on the paper, you will see a diagram, which I'll put there. So this is how you've got to tighten the head up in that procedure. So we've already done the 40, we've already done the 60, now we're 90 degrees, so it's 90 degree all around and 90 degrees, so it's a 180 turn. So we'll start with 1, 2, 3. So we start on number 1, which is, if you look at it that way, that's that. So we've got to do a 90 turn. So if I'm there, this has got to come roughly parallel with me. 1 and 2, 2, so we get 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, So that is now the third procedure done. Now we have to do that one more time to torque it completely down now. So try again. So there's one. 90. 2. 90. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Oh, last one. 10. So that now, that head is completely tightened down. So if you see, we got this into the head kit. So we've now done the 40, the 60, a 90 turn, and another 90 turn. But you don't do the 180 turn in one go, because you've got to slowly put the head down, starting from the middle, working its way out. And you've got to do it that way, because you can't just start there and just go along. Once you get the middle section in, you're then distributing it out. So that now is a complete head fitted back, which I'm made up over now. So my next procedure will be to fit the little, just a couple of little, where did I put them? There's a couple, no, there's 4 little clamps. Right. What we're going to do, I'm just going to pause you there until we get these clamps, and I'll show you how we then put this down. That's what it looked like. Anti-timing tension. That actually fits on there, but there is a gasket, there's a little rubber part, and then a gasket which fits on top, and this tensions the cams. So even though there's only one cog, it turns both. So as we were redoing it, went and bought a brand new one, as I always do. As you can see, there's a little mesh there for its goes, and there's a phenomenal little tool which is this here, which will come off, which it's clamped down, so it's tight. That actually does fit right there. That's where that fits. But there's a little rubber seal and a gasket with this kit and the chain. Which is here. You don't have to put sealant down, you don't have to put anything with this to put this in. So it just fits. It's just basically it's just an oil seal. It's just a very posh oil seal, to be fair. Which that goes on, and then that's your gasket, which then goes, which way does that go? That way, there. So that fits on top of that. But before I do anything, I've got a little tub of oil. And the reason why I'm going to put oil in it is just to soften it. A little touch of oil. Oh, nicely in. I'm going to leave this off for now because it could put a bolt through it, but I don't want to knock it down here or down the back. Next one's with cylinder 2. So C2, just the same procedure again. And I like to do it this way so I don't get confused of which is which cylinder. And I'm not re-oiling these because, as you can see, the original oil is still on them. So you just push them in place. That's it. So C3, which C3 is the same procedure. Because when we had the valve stems done and the valves reseated, they've already got the grease already in those. And the final one, which is C4. I'll be going to the Motor Express where I get the parts from tomorrow to get the final parts, which are the timing belt, water pump and tensioner. So it will be done. She will be done this week. So the procedure is now that's down, that's tight, tick. We've now put the valve tops in. So with a little bit of oil, what I've got to do, where the cams are going to go back, I just want to put oil in where they rotate. That's all I'm going to do now. And I'm only doing it because don't forget the head got decoked, which means it went into a chemical bath and stripped of all oil. So that can move to one side so we don't knock it. And this is where that other lifter will come in a moment. You'll see why. So for now, we're going to pop it in. So this one is the cam which goes to the back. Remember I said there's a chain and a cog. So that fits just it will do. Just got to reseat them down. So there's one. We're going to take them back off in a minute, but you'll understand why. So what we're going to have to do in a second, because if you remember, I put the spark plugs in, and what's happening is it's an interference engine. So as the piston comes up to top dead center, the piston will open up. So that's all that it's doing at the moment. So what I need to do is just undo the spark plugs. I'm not going to take them out, but just undo them for the compression. And the reason for this is it's set at top dead center at the moment. I don't want it at top dead center for now until I get the cams sorted out. But the reason why I'm going to keep the spark plugs in is the compression can get round it, but because we've still got tightened stuff up and bolts to do, I don't want to put a bolt where it can drop into it, and then we'd have to take it all off again. So I'll show you the timing marks where they are on this. Right, so that's off compression. Now, okay, we're getting very close now. So what I want to do now is I don't want to tighten everything down, but what I do need to do is this and the timing chain. We don't undo that bar as of yet. We've got to get it semi sort of permanent. So there's the new chain. So what we have to do now is, this can be a little bit fiddly, is we need to put round one. Two. But while that's in there, we need to get this in, and then put that other that's got to go in between, and the gasket. I need to do before I do anything else, because there's the original bolts and the original gasket. Just so we don't lose the gasket or the gasket moves, I just want to put one in, one bolt, just for now. There's one. Star drives. As I said, the reason why I'm going to just nip this, I'm not going to tighten it down, I'm just going to nip it on, just so that gasket doesn't move. There's one. So we know that that is now in place. As I said, this is where it gets a bit awkward. So I've not done, tightened it up. There's one. There's two. Don't be afraid of just nipping it up slightly, just so it fits. Put that back in there, that back on there. Move that for a second. As I said, this can be the tricky part. Said this is the proper tricky part. You've got to line 3 things up and bolts as well. Told you it's fiddly this part. Because you're working to fractions of a millimetre. Okay. You need to put these to top dead centre. I'll find this. I just need to just make sure these don't move. So same thing again, I'm just going to nip them up. And always make sure the seals go in. All the way to the back. There for now. So I can tell for now that this is virtually at top dead centre because I can see it there. Well, this one is not playing ball. I'll get back to that in a minute. Do me head in, so I just need a moment. So, in my little pack we had, we'll start doing the exhaust and turbo. You have these little clips, and what these do, these are your fuel rails. So what happens is there's a tiny little groove in there. They just push like that, just to make them tight. So I need to do that on all four. That's two. There's three. And four. And if you see there's a little gap there, that's got to fit to the flange like that. Same on this one, just see how it's not quite, and then give it a wiggle and they pop in like that, so it locks it in place. And that's locked too. So that's the fuel part done. As I said before, they just push back in. There it is. There's two. Fuel rail done, complete and sorted. I just need the fuel. Clip. That's for that. So it's just in reverse procedure as we did before. So one push on, clip up. Just make sure that your little teeth are up and out. Okay, so that should be two. Clip and in, and clip and in, and in. Now, one thing I've noticed, as you get an older cars when people bodge them. As you see, these tape around them, around the wires, the frayed. So what I might have to do with this is cut this off. I'm going to just leave these out for a bit, and that's going to be another repair. As you can see, the wires are showing, which are there, which you need a good connection to fire the injector to go through. So that's one that I'm going to have to attend to, so there's no point in going any further with that until I fix that. Right, okay. My camera stopped and I kept carrying on, so I'll catch up where we're at. So, as we've seen before, when we put the cams back on, when we did the teeth, so what you do is, like I said, you put them in, you count 16 teeth, which they are from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The 16 teeth. So these are your timing marks. So you've got a little arrow which points to that, and you've got a little arrow which points to that. So once as you can see, they're just slightly that way and just ever so slightly that way. That's okay, but you've got to count the 16 teeth, and you count the 16 teeth from there. So I think it's that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, which is there. Bang on. All the bolts in. I've took the tensioner out, which has pushed the hydraulic out. I've put these in. Even now, I've taken this part plugs are not tightened up yet. These are all tight, and as you can see, it goes from 2, 3, 4, 5, and same on the opposite way. And there's a little mark which you see on every one of them, which is there. You've got one there. This is where oil is in to go round to the cams, and there's a little recess, so they have to all line up with that, and they have to all line up. So that is completely done. Of even your timing mark, which is here, once we put the rocker cover back on, the timing mark will line up with the rocker cover. The bottom now is aligned to my mark, which it's there, so I know the bottom is top dead center, the cams are set. And the problem, like I said, I was having where it wasn't quite in, you then put them all these on, tightened at the first down, and then you work backwards, just putting them, nipping them down, and it'll all reseat itself. But always remember to turn that just a 1/4 of a turn to the left. If you have to do it the other way, you've got to redo it, but to the left. So that is now all timed. Once the timing kit comes tomorrow, we'll put the timing kit on. But for now, what we're going to do now is completely tighten this up. We've put the rocker cover gasket on. We're going to fix the little wires and a few other little pieces. But don't forget, in fact, I don't understand why they do these, but there's a little gap in them, and they go, that goes that way, that goes that way. Now we can put the rocker cover back on. Just give me 1 second. So I've just put the rocker cover back on, and it should theoretically, that mark there lines up with that mark there. So I know that mark, and I know the head's lined up, and I know the pistons are lined up. So when I do, I'm just going to button, and we're going to tighten this down, and then I can start putting the turbo side back together. We've got to make a bracket to hold the big air scoop. So that is my next procedure, but I can start, I can put these on to a degree, but I can't put these in yet, for the simple reason being is I want to turn, once it's all buttoned up and all the cam is done, I need to crank it over a couple of times before then we put the spark plugs back in and the coils pack back up, back on. So that's, I'm not going to do that today, that will be tomorrow. Hi, sorry it's dark, I forgot to say thank you for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers guys.